In the morning light, I'm chasing dreams, navigating through the office streams. Deadlines looming, emails piling high, wondering if I'm reaching for the sky or just passing by. The world outside, it's a swirling storm, chaos in the streets, a daily norm. But inside my mind, I'm seeking peace, a way to balance, a moment to seize. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Upon meetings, voices in my head, strategies and plans, where do they lead instead? I take a breath, step back to see the bigger picture, what's meant to be. Coaching sessions, a guiding light, helping me focus, setting things right. With every word, a new perspective gained. In the game of life, it's not about the pain. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. Quiet moments, I find my voice. In the chaos, I make my choice to lead with kindness, to act with care, to be the change, to show I'm aware. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place.
Well, welcome everyone to another episode of Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. Hope everyone's having a great Sunday. I'm here with my co-host Melissa Houston, and I'm Felipe Cofiño, and we are excited to have you here today to talk about, are you applying to the right jobs, and how can we help? So I'm excited to be here to talk about this. Melissa, how are you doing today on this fine Sunday?
You know, Felipe, I am taking it in nice and slow, guys. I don't know about you where you are, but the sun is just now coming up over the trees. It's still kind of early here. The Pacific Northwest is seeing fall, like really seeing it. There's fog. It's a slower start. It's a colder start. So I'm in my hoodie and I'm warm and bundled up. Excited to be back a little bit. Still kind of on reprieve, guys. Still on break. Got some stuff to catch up with, but I'm feeling good. Felipe, you want to tell your friends where you are right now?
Well, sure. So I am in the wonderful state of Maryland. I'm passing exit 22 and on the Route 50, actually passing exit 21, now exit 20. No, sorry. So I am just coming back from visiting some friends, high school friends that moved out closer to the Eastern Shore by the water. And we went out to hang out with them last night with some other friends, and we spent the night there. And we are now driving back with Copper. Copper's in the car with us. And actually, I'll show Copper real quick. Copper, say hello. There he is, happy as can be in the back seat. And so if for any reason I get choppy or I cut out, that's why, because for the next half hour, or I'm sorry, the next 20 minutes, I'll be in the car still. But besides that, you mentioned the fall. This is my favorite season, Melissa. Tell us in the chat. Spring, we got married in the fall. It was funny, as we were driving, my wife's brother, or my brother-in-law, he texted, he sent a Facebook post and it just popped up WTF. I'm like, and that was it. That was the whole post. And so I'm reading the comments. They live in upstate New York. And he's like, where are all these people coming from? And their business is a restaurant, and they're just getting slammed. And it's because people are all going up to see the fall foliage, change of colors. And so it's really just a very popular area to do. So I think it's cool. But that's where I am right now. So Melissa may be taking a little bit more conversation in the first. Hopefully I will be. And it's great to see people in the Leanna and Leslie and Jackie and Meryl, our great friend, and Mike LeBlanc. It's always great to see you, and Lisa Febick. And I gotta say, just Melissa, I don't know if you've heard. I think you know Roy Kowalski. You've seen Roy before, right?
Of course I know Roy.
Yeah. So he does a show on Fridays, and I think you've probably seen Martin Stark. He's one of his co-hosts.
I know Martin too.
Okay, good. So anyone that's listening, just if you go to Roy's page, you'll see a post about Martin. Martin's, going through something. He had a diagnosis that came out of nowhere. He's also been looking for a job while this diagnosis happened. And so if there's any support you can provide, whether it's just creating awareness or just letting people know, it's appreciated because he's going through a lot. He's part of the LinkedIn community. So we just wanted to do a little shout out to him and hope his recovery is going well. But besides that, I know a lot of people are looking for jobs like him, and they're applying for jobs. Let's say I know you apply for jobs, I apply for jobs, and I think we've learned a few things and what to do and what not to do.
Oh, we're losing you a little bit, Felipe. Guys, we've all applied for jobs, right? Say hi if you've applied for jobs in the comments. If you're currently applying, maybe let us know. If you're hiring, let us know, right? We want this to be an engaging conversation in the comment section, especially while I'm buying time for Felipe to get home. But also just a quick note on Martin. If you believe in prayer, if you believe in good vibes, if you believe in any of that, even if you can't send financial support, you can send, some good vibes that way. It would be appreciated. Also for the job market, we talk about it a lot. As a background screener for a decade, I looked at HR professionals all the time, and I looked at their volumes. And I know, this is the season that typically we see a surge of applications, and it's supposed to be this retail boom because Black Friday and Thanksgiving and Christmas, all the holidays start this spending flurry usually. I'm not sure what we're going to see this year. And so if you guys have some inside information, if you guys are seeing trends in your industry, maybe you see an industry booming in your area, these are great tips and tricks and things that we can share, perspective from our own location. What I'm seeing in Washington State is not going to be exactly what Felipe is seeing. What different industries are facing. Some are booming, some are having to face layoffs, right? There's funding cuts. We're seeing people all the time making these comments. And, even Jackie, she just made her announcement that her mediation services have lost their funding. These are things that are affecting everyday Americans all over the place. And you just never know when it's going to happen. I've been laid off out of nowhere. My largest client, who was consistent for 8 years, money in the bank, passed away, no notice. Things change. And so if we can work together, if we can strategize together, if we can share our tips. Felipe has looked at 1 million resumes in his lifetime. I'm not saying he's old, but he's old enough that I can guesstimate that he's seen a few thousand, probably.
Yeah, I was waiting for the first dig. I really was.
I mean, you'd be back and say something if the vibe was there. But Felipe, I'm excited to do this with you. I actually wanted to let them know we're going to create a situation where we can just kind of pick Felipe's brain today. I would love to share your questions if you have them. I'm going to throw some questions at Felipe, but we're going to put him in the hot seat, so to speak. And I didn't really even warn him we were going to do this, but as much as I would love to say I am, on the forefront of this, I'm not. I don't look at half the volume of resumes that people like Felipe are looking at. The reason I'm not doing as much career coaching as he is currently, I also have a very solid team and I don't have a lot of turnover. So I'm not having to review resumes as often as he is. That said, Felipe, I mean, what are your thoughts on the industries? What are you seeing in your current state while they catch up in the comments?
It's the whole entire landscape has changed. And let me start off by saying, being in the hot seat when you're in the room, Houston. Wait, am I back?
I
Am I back
heard
now?
when you're in the
Sorry.
room, Houston, and then you were gone. I was like, oh, he disappears when I'm in the room. I'm a magician.
Yeah, apparently, I was going to give you a dig. Like when I'm in a room with you, I'm always used to being in the hot seat. So, the good news is I'm only 4 minutes away from my house, so I will be home very soon. Did I lose you again?
No,
Damn it.
just giving you the floor.
Oh, okay. So what I was going to say was, the landscape has changed so much. Obviously, I mean, it's between just the economy, technology, AI. Political landscape has changed and caused a lot of changes in the workforce, and it's all happening at once. And the reality is that before, people could get away with just applying for a lot of jobs every once in a while, looking at one job a little more, giving it a little more attention, and really researching it more, and they might get lucky. Nowadays, you can't rely on luck. You've got to be strategic. You got to be smart. You got to be engaging. You got to put the work into it. People say all the time, your full-time job when you're unemployed is to look for a job. That statement's never more true than it is today. So I think this is gonna be a great conversation. What I'm gonna do is I just have words, and I want you, Houston, to really dig into this, because I think that these 5 words are a good way to start up. And then as I'm transferring into the house, you can get ready to the questions. But if you're in the chat, if you're listening, put your questions in the chat. Go ahead and throw out those hard questions that maybe you don't want to ask. Give it to Houston. She'll ask me. She's not afraid to ask any questions you want to ask me. So,
That is
and
so true. And guys, we're going to have to do an intro at some point too. We kind of came
oh
in hot
yeah,
because he was traveling, but that is something I'll let you do your 5 or your words that you
no, no,
want to
no,
do.
no. Let's do the
Then let's
intro.
do intro as you go into the house. I'll start. By the time you're in the house, you can do your intro and we'll dive in. Is that cool?
Okay. Actually, let me do my intro because we're at a red light right now. So by the
Oh,
time I'm
perfect.
done,
Go.
yeah. So real quick. So, and God bless Mike LeBlanc, because he wrote these great things about the two of us. So I'm going to highlight each of our comments that he made about us as I'm talking. So I'm Felipe Cofiño. I am a HR executive, a career coach, LinkedIn top voice, and fairly recently a international best-selling author. So if you haven't checked out Miranda and Max, the children's book, check it out on Amazon. It's a great book. People are enjoying it, and they're asking for book 2. I wrote this for my daughter. I'm very excited that other kids are enjoying it. So, but also, if you haven't been following us on LinkedIn, give us a follow on LinkedIn. I do shows with Melissa here. I do some with on workplace wellness, as well as Social Saturday chat. And if you'd be so kind to give me a follow on my YouTube page. I am trying to grow that, and that is something that I store all the videos and all the shows that I do on that page, and they each have their own playlist. So I encourage you all to check that, follow me there. I am trying to increase my subscribers there because LinkedIn's a rented platform. God, forbid it ever went away. I'd like to have some of my content somewhere else. So I appreciate any support there. And if you are looking for HR services, by all means, check out Cofiño Consulting. And I'm available for HR services if you need part-time consulting, if you need recruitment needs, auditing needs, or if you just need some executive coaching or career coaching. So feel free to reach out to me through there as well. And with that, other than that, I'm just excited about today, and I love co-hosting. I'm glad that we're here for season 3 of Careers, Chaos, and Coaching. It's been an amazing first 2 seasons, and I feel like this season we're just upping our game, and I love that everyone here has been a part of that journey. So with that, Houston, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Well, I appreciate it. And Felipe, I can't believe it's been 3 seasons. Like, this is the 3rd season. I just celebrated 1 year ago of meeting Aaron Gibson in public, in person, like in real life. And time just flies. You just don't even realize how quick it goes. So we appreciate the support. I appreciate the time and effort and the Sundays we've put in and all of the events, guys. This has been a long-standing tradition of showing up, supporting each other, sharing our thoughts, helping each other grow. And I just appreciate all of you who show up and do this. For me, I'm Melissa Houston. I'm the cultivator of dreams, motivator of human capital. And what that means is I help people figure out what they want to be when they grow up and then get a plan of action to do that. Sometimes it's business leaders. Sometimes it's just the humans who are trying to survive in a world of business but don't want to be there. Sometimes, it's just the human looking at life. And right now, I got to be honest, guys, if you have noticed, I'm a little bit absent from the platforms, plural. I'm not really posting a lot anywhere right now. It's because I got some stuff going on. And so I just wanted to take 2 seconds and let you know that I'm fine. I am going through some stuff. One of those major life events this week was that I lost one of my riders. He was 20 years old. He was riding with his friend. They had an devastatingly unfortunate impact with another vehicle. The people in the vehicle are still facing challenges. One of them is still struggling to get from critical status to more stable. I don't want to share too much about it, but it's been a lot. And as somebody who runs a business that is focused on riders, they call me mom, they come in. I have been on call for a lot of young humans who are struggling because of a loss of a friend. On the other side of that, I was also so grateful to see one of those riders who did survive come see me. And I'm going to tell you, I have goosebumps even thinking about this, but this is where I've been. I have been processing. My daughter's birthday was this week. The crash was the day before. And so I was trying to celebrate her life while understanding that there was loss. And I've just been kind of in a shell. But it's because I needed to reconcile with everything I was feeling, and I didn't want to push myself beyond what I was capable of emotionally this week. And that's truly where I was. But then Jacob, my rider who did survive, came in and just said thank you. And I got to tell you guys, that it filled me up. It actually gave me the energy to be here today, to keep giving back, because he said the gloves, the pants, the shoes, the helmet saved his life. He had some back injury, but that was due to the tools he carried in his backpack. So if you're a rider, please don't do that. But genuinely, guys, if you have missed me, just know that it's not because I don't want to be here, but it's because I'm setting good boundaries for myself. And so when I come back, I'm ready to do some coaching. I'm not taking on any new clients right now, but please feel free to sign up at the website if you want to get on the list for when I open those sessions back up. Like I said, I'm just grateful for your support, grateful to be here. And if you can send some prayers out to the riders, along with, Martin, again, just everybody who needs prayers right now, just send it out open. You don't even have to have a name necessarily, or good vibes, whatever you believe in, right? Just remember to share a smile, if nothing else, because a lot of people are going through it. And if you know people who are going through it, people who are facing job uncertainty, people who are struggling just to have community, maybe feel alone, invite them today. That's what we're going to do. So Felipe, I appreciate the space. You guys go check out the YouTube channel. I see it's up. I'm also trying to grow off this platform. So if it ever disappears, we can do that. But truthfully, I just want more people to be able to find this message. LinkedIn is a very secure spot for Felipe and I, but we're not reaching everybody. Not everybody lives here. Not everybody even has a profile yet, which is insane to think billions are here and we haven't included them all. So Felipe, let's do this. Are you ready for season 3? Are you ready to kick off the show? Are you ready to help these people?
I am. And I am real quick wanted to show, let me minimize that. For those that have interest in buying a book for their child, their friend's kid, their niece, nephew, grandchild, I just want to give them a quick QR code to scan from Miranda Max. I had to pop that up. Now, with Felipe's 5, I did have 5 slides, and unfortunately only 3 of them uploaded while I was in the car. So I am just going to talk about these 5 points, and the 5 words that I want you all to think about, or 5 short phrases. So when you're thinking about, let's get to this here. All right, so when you're thinking about applying to the right jobs, I want you to think about first the research. We are so quick we see that quick apply button. I gotta tell you, in the years that quick apply has been available, I have yet to find someone that has gotten the job through the quick apply button. It's a secondary database for recruiters to go to, and they end up going to it after they've already gone through the candidates that applied on their website. So research the company. Don't go for the quick, easy fix. It's not going to help. So research it, research a job, look at it, make sure you understand what they're looking for. Number two, avoid the scams. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. You want to avoid the text and emails that just are very generic. They don't tell you a company name. They don't tell you anything other than we can give you this much per hour or this much per month if you want a job that's fully remote. Again, too good to be true. It probably is. If you have some doubts, go to the company's website, go to their job postings. If that job is not posted on their company website, it probably is a scam. Okay. The next thing I want you to think about is networking. Networking with your family, networking with your friends, networking with your previous colleagues, networking with your college or school friends, with your LinkedIn network, in person, remotely. I can't stress enough that that is going to be probably one of the biggest things for you that will help you get through this is networking. The fourth one, be investigative about or be inquisitive about the culture. Reach out, and through that networking that you already did, people that maybe have worked there before or work in the industry or have a friend or family member that worked there, or you're connected to someone that's worked there, ask them about the culture. What's it like to work there? Are they flexible with the schedule? Are they friendly? Is it a lot of training? Just research and ask questions. There's people that will tell you. Go to their reviews. Go to Glassdoor and see what they're saying. Those are honest reviews. Trust me, as an employer, I had my CEO ask me, "Can we take that review down?" I'm like, "I tried," and they wouldn't do it unless it's defamation of character or it's vulgar. They're not going to take it down. And check the Yelp reviews or other customer service reviews. If they're treating their customers like crap, they're probably treating their employees like crap. And then the fifth and last one, it kind of is duplicating the research concept, but people always forget to research the people. Research the leadership, research the CEO, look at his LinkedIn, look at the previous companies they've worked at. Just Google their names and see what comes up of the leadership. Google the person that you're going to be interviewing with and working with, possibly. Look at their Facebook if you want. We have information at our fingertips. Let's use it to our advantage to make sure that we're getting the right job. So I'll stop there while I transfer inside. And Houston, I'll let you share that as you prepare some questions for me and questions for you all in the audience. And we will pull the link in the comments shortly so that you can join us on stage. But with that, over to you, Houston.
Ooh. And I just want to say, guys, all of you in the comments, thank you so much for, the love, the support, the kindness that you're sharing. It's fantastic to just see it. And I appreciate you. Also, I have to say, from a safety standpoint, I think that's the number one thing job seekers are facing. So while Felipe is transitioning to the house, before I get into the questions, I really just want to get back into like the background screening mindset I had. Guys, some quick tips. If you're going to be job seeking, get a job seeking email. It should not be your Hulu and Netflix email that you're applying with, right? That's the first step to other things about you. And so get strategic. One of the things that I like to use on LinkedIn for my email is connect with, and then just my name, connect with Melissa Houston. So go to Outlook and Gmail and go create a connect with, insert your name, right? It could be your initials. Get creative. Don't put your passwords or your numbers or any of that in the email too. Just be very forthcoming so it ties to who you are. If they're looking for you, if they search your name, it's going to pull back your email as well. And so it's really a strategy to be found very quickly in SEO. But first stage of protecting yourself is having a unique email to search a job search with and network with. Another thing I would say is, of course, don't use your, reoccurring passwords. Google's really good about offering you some auto password suggestions. Guys, think about these things, because if you have one that's at risk, they can all be at risk. If one is hacked, all of your stuff would be hacked. And so remember it. I don't know if we just stopped teaching internet safety, but as a background screener, I was helping a lot of people rectify their identity theft because of simple things like this. If you're still rocking your address on your resume, that is a no-no. Again, if that resume gets lost, I have your work history, I have your address, I have your phone number, I have your email. I can start guessing at some of these bank password reset questions. I could apply for credit with some of the answers that are sitting on your resume. Sometimes they just want to know what the zip code was, maybe what car you have. If I take that information on your resume and go to that Facebook that matches exactly, because it's not your job seeking email, then I can look at your favorite car. You'll tell me what your high school mascot was because you're going to tag your alumni. You're going to tag your high school. It asks you what city you grew up in. I can guess if you have a small town. So think through safety, right? Other things like Felipe said, he said, do some research on the job. One of my least favorite things in the whole world is when people come in and don't know where they've applied to. It's kind of a running joke, but I run a motorcycle shop, and there are people who come in thinking it's a bicycle shop. It was said in a meeting not long ago with other managers where some of their best hires were actually confused about where they were applying, and they thought it was a bicycle shop. In the Pacific Northwest, it's a huge pastime. Once they came in, their shock said, oh, I did not know where I was applying. It was just an open job. I looked at the title and the amount, and that's okay. Now, a good HR person or interviewer might be able to scrape through, scratch the surface and say, hey, let's figure out how you fit here since you didn't figure it out before you got here. But if somebody else is more passionate, can tell me about how it was founded, when we merged, what our, focus is, the fact that we won an award for giving back, any of those pillars being aligned with themselves would impress me. And so all of the things Felipe shared and said, I think are so valid, but I just want to tell you guys, all of this work to get the good job, not so great if they steal your bank account information too, right? Like you don't want to win and then have your identity stolen. It becomes very messy while you're running that really cool new job. Felipe, any thoughts on that before I get into some questions?
Absolutely. Oh my God, what you shared was brilliant, Melissa. And I hope everyone heard her because first of all, the first tip, it's so important for people to think about these things. And obviously the security is huge. And I want to get into that in a minute here. Well, actually, the one thing about the security I will say real quickly is this. There's a lot of scams out there that if you don't do the research that we're talking about, people will offer you a job. They'll make you feel like you got that job. It's legit. They'll send you new hire paperwork. And then as soon as they get that paperwork back, they ghost you because they got your social, they got your name, they got your address, date of birth, they got all your personal identifiable information, and that's it. And it's like, so it's so important for you all to think about these things to protect yourself because there are unfortunately people who will make the job sound so good. So all we're saying is if it's too good to be true, dig deeper. If you don't remember anything else, just remember that. If it feels too good to be true, dig deeper and ask questions because people who do scams hate questions. They hate. And then the other point you made, remind me now because I was in transition when you made it. The first point.
The email?
Oh, yes. That's brilliant because if you're like me, I am so bad about my personal email, you all. I need people to text me to say, I sent you an email. Can you respond to it? I'm like, okay, sure. So having a separate email for applicants when I was job searching, all the other junk emails, all the other personal emails, all the spam got muddled in there. And so to have that dedicated email just for job searching is going to make your life so much easier, and you're going to be more responsive to those job openings, and you're going to have a very clear picture of, like she said, where you're applying. Because I got to tell you, as a recruiter and HR person, nothing irritates me more sometimes than when someone doesn't know where the hell they applied to when I call them. And I'm like, hi, I'm calling about your application. I'm calling from ABC company. Oh, what job did I apply for? I'm like, okay, I gave you the company name. If that didn't spark something, that scares me because that tells me that you weren't even that serious about the company. You were just applying blindly. So there's a negative to doing that. So I'll stop there. I'll put the link in the chat in a few minutes here. But if you all want questions, put them in the chat for Melissa in Houston. I'm in my hot seat at home. I'm ready to go. The seat warmer is on high. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So, guys, one last tip. When in doubt, phone it out. I go to Google. If it was Felipe, I would go to Google Cofiño Consulting. I would look for his website and I would look for that contact information. I sought out myself to call the business. If they're really hiring you, they're not going to be upset that you phone the front desk and then ask for Felipe. They're not. What they are going to be upset about is you blasting them for being a scam company when you didn't actually call and confirm anything you were reading. It's not it's not Felipe's job to stop scammers. He can do his best, but people will snag your info. I've seen people announcing it on LinkedIn where they've had their name tweaked. Even retailers, they will change the last little from .com to .co. And people who are not paying attention will click on it and they will be shopping at a scam site that looks identical to the real thing. And so you have to slow down. It's slow down to speed up. But Felipe, AI, job applications, easy button, all of this stuff we've talked about, right? So I want to ask you personally some stuff that has nothing to do with tools for a minute. I just want to ask you, what pops on a resume first for you? Very first thing, every time you're just like, wow, that looks great. And so I'm going to keep going.
So again, this is just for me. The first sentence, I always read the first sentence if they wrote something on the top of the resume, just to see if they wrote anything that stands out about the skills they have, the job specifically, or just a little thing about the personality maybe. If they're like creative with the first sentence, I want to give them credit for it. After that, though, I don't read the whole thing usually unless it was like really like caught my eye. I'll be honest. The first thing I go to is their current job. What is the current job, or what was the last job they had if they're not currently employed? What did they do? How long were they there? What kind of skills? Because I want to know what was the freshest thing that they have. But I will say that first sentence, my eye goes to there first. I've trained myself to not go to their name, address, anything on the top. I purposely ignore it. I don't want any of my implicit biases coming in that I'm not even aware of. That if the name was Justin Houston and Melissa pissed me off right before I got on this interview, I don't want Justin to suffer because Melissa pissed me off.
Try being in Houston where everybody finishes it with, we have a problem. We don't even have to have one. What?
So I do, and I always train all my staff and all my recruiters to do the same thing. Blind recruiting. Don't look at it. Don't expect them not to put it on there. Just train yourself to look at everything else first. And when you get excited about the candidate, then say, okay, let's contact them, or I want to learn more about them on LinkedIn. Let me see their name and everything.
I love this. Listen, I want to hop over to the comments. Marcia says, what do you suggest about all the scam text messages, Felipe? I do have to also say after this, I would like you to pull that one up for her so she can get highlighted. But then also Sean would be the next comment I would like to discuss after.
All right. So Marcia, there's Marcia. So that's a great question. Oh, wait, that's not it. Hold on.
That's not it. So close.
He's
getting into the swing of things. Guys, I'm so excited we're here.
Holy crap, there's a lot of comments. I didn't realize how many comments were here. I'm so sorry.
They're excited to talk to you, Felipe.
All right. So where's her first? Is it the first comment or last comment that she made? I'm seeing a lot of comments.
It's about the scam text messages.
I know, but she's been very chatty.
I see it very recently at 8:34. I mean, I'm gonna, while he's looking for it, Marcia, I would just say
found it.
The same thing. Like if they say they work for Felipe and they're texting me about Felipe, I'm just gonna go to the website and call the company and say, hey, I'm not really texting. I just wanted to confirm. Can I talk to Bob or whoever it is texting me? The fastest way. Felipe.
Sorry, are you done? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, yeah. So the fastest way to be sure is to just call and ask for the person. I've always done that when I'm unsure, especially even like bills. If you forget a utility bill, if they call me, I don't trust them. I'm like, okay, I'll call you guys back. And I hang up and I just call and pay or whatever it is, right? It's just smarter to go direct. If you're making outbound calls, you're less likely to be scammed, especially if you source the number. Felipe, what are your thoughts?
No, I agree with what you said. I love that. And with Marcia, your question about it, I don't want to say all text jobs are scams. What I want to say is this: think about what you've done when you've applied for jobs, because there's an option that it asks you almost on every single ATS out there, applicant tracking system, when you apply on it. One of the questions it asks you is, would you like to be contacted via email or text? Now, here's the thing. I have never, ever used the text option. So warning signal one is anyone that sends me a text about a job, I didn't sign up for any of those, so that's already a red flag. So I treat them as all red flags because I know I'd rather have them email me than text me. Now, if you are encouraging employers to text you, which as a recruiter is still the minority, you think that the young generation would prefer it. It's getting there, but it's not the majority. The majority still want their email. So I caution you, because most recruiters aren't going to reach out to you via text until after they've already reached out to you via email. Think about it. Most of the jobs, all the jobs I've ever gotten, it was email, 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 and then, hey, we want to set up an interview, and they sent me a text. Okay, great. I'm available on these dates. Wonderful. Hey, they're gonna be late. That kind of conversation after the fact makes total sense. But before, I think unless you are asking them to reach you through email or text, and the text is from the place that you applied at, I would question everyone.
I love that. I mean, it's slow and steady, guys. It's the only way to get it done. In this age of tech, the fastest way to get scammed is to move fast. And so it's funny because we want to speed up, but genuinely we can't when it comes to your personal information. It's the one time you really have to slow down. Read the fine print, make sure you're understanding what you're accepting, who you're talking to, who you're responding to, what links you're clicking. And it's really hard because there's a lot of professionals who get got. And it could be corporations. I mean, Microsoft has had issues. We're not just the little guys out here. Everybody is under siege at some point because data is king. And so protect your data. The other thing I love is what Sean was saying about, and it starts pro tip, but create folders for each company you apply to and store your cover letters and resumes there. I want to have a poll the audience moment, and then I'm going to ask Felipe to comment on this. But how many of you change your resume, submit it, maybe the summary, maybe some of the keywords so it pops for the job, which you're supposed to do, right? And Felipe can cover that too. But then they don't save that copy anywhere. They just edit again, reapply, edit again, reapply. So I don't know, 3 months from now when Felipe is like, oh my gosh, finally I can do the onboarding. We have all of these other things done. We have our budget. We can go. You don't even remember what your resume looked like when you sent it to him. So he's going to talk to you about something that you created on the spot, maybe used AI to do. It didn't maybe anchor into the brain. If he's already running into people who don't remember the company, and then you don't even remember what you put in the resume, guys, so that's a great idea. Another idea is tracking it in a Google form. I love Google Sheets and Docs. And so I would just link it and keep the resumes going and just have a spreadsheet. That way I could track my follow-ups as well. I'm a big spreadsheet girl. But Felipe, how would you handle this?
So I'm a big spreadsheet person too. I track them on my phone. Actually, though, I use the Notes app, and I had a notes page for every job that I applied to, which also helped me from over applying. Okay, because when you over apply and you're applying too quickly, and everything that the first 3 sentences of the job look good, so you apply to it. Again, it's like trying to fish in a pond, and they said there's only certain pockets of fish, so you have to know where the pockets are instead of going to. Did I lose you all?
That was the weirdest moment ever, but you're back.
Wait, hold on. You there?
Yes.
Hello?
Felipe, I can hear you. Oh, this guy. He has so much cool tech. He's learning. He's going to come back. Guys, if you have questions, please make sure you're dropping them because I know we're getting close to the top of the hour and I don't know how long this is going to go, but I know he's ready for your questions. Felipe, I hear you. Can you hear me? No, Felipe can't hear us. Okay. So, I don't even remember where he was, to be honest with you. Guys, the tracking, I think, is what he was saying. Slowing down, right? I love what he was saying about putting it there. If you have to actually document everything you apply to, what you liked about it, maybe something you learned about the company, that way you can trigger that memory back. You're going to slow yourself down and you're not just going to click the button. If you decide to go faster than that and you really can't help yourself, at least go back at the end of your click, 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 click and track it would be my hint. I'm hoping Felipe can come back and finish his thought on this once he hears us. Felipe, are you back? Oh, man. Somebody says you can use a notebook. Mike says that. Okay. Meryl says so many golden nuggets shared thus far, 100% worthy of bookmarking the reply to effectively take notes accordingly. Guys, I mean, what are your tips? What do you do that might be different? What do you do that we haven't mentioned yet? Or what are some things you face that we're not addressing? I know Felipe is going to be back soon. And it looks like Mike is coming to the stage as well. Felipe, are you there? Oh, fun times. Mike, are you there? Oh, that's Marcia. Marcia Lee, is that you?
Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Welcome to the stage. We're going to try to keep going until Felipe joins, and then we'll hand him back the mic.
What's happening?
What do you think? What's
What
coming up for you on
besides
the
everything
show?
else what's happening? No, but thank y'all for doing this today. I'm not gonna be long winded. But you know what, it is a lot going on, Melissa, and I've been, of course I've been y'all fan for a minute. And I've been always staying relevant and current with everything, especially at my age. Because the older you get, the harder it is to get a job. So I've been doing everything, just like you say, stay relevant, stay current. I'm not the queen of AI, but I know what's happening. I use it. And I always try to educate people to do the same. But at the same time, like you said, since everything is just an uproar, especially in the DC area where it's like 99 people looking for like 0.0005 jobs, it's becoming a bit of a challenge. And as Felipe knows, I do network. I'm always outside. I'm always at events on purpose. And I was going to stay at my job because it allowed me the flexibility I need at this time in my life. But after this furlough situation, it's making me rethink that decision because I don't like how they handling the finances, and I want to be somewhere where I don't have to worry about this because it's messing with my money. Because we're on furlough, but we don't get back pay. So everything I have to use, I'm taking a hit, and that's a problem. So that was it.
I just got to give you some virtual hugs right now because yeah, that's a lot. Could you imagine, guys, if you're still supposed to show up to work though, right? Or is it you guys are on layoff? I know some
No,
people are
no, we on furlough. Yeah,
okay.
we are on total furlough as of yesterday. So when we get paid next week, we get paid for 1 week, and that's
Okay.
it. So okay.
Imagine in the comments, guys, if you got that same morning. Like you got a week and then I don't know. And we've been there. People have been laid off and I hate this moment. I hate seeing that there's people at the airports right now working and they're not getting paid, but they show up anyway. And I don't know how that works either. I thought maybe that's part of it. I don't understand everything around me right now, I'll be honest, but stronger together, she's doing the right things. And yet you're still looking for, like she said, that 0.00. And these aren't real stats. We got to go look what it is. But if it feels like a million people are applying for one job, the reality is only one will get it, right? There may be some good finalists, but that's still just a bunch of people that will still wait for that one role. It's a hard time. So diversifying the location is something I would say, which is hard also. Remote work is harder to find, but it's getting creative. And something that I personally did, and then Felipe, I hope you're back. I just looked at what were non-negotiables for my job. When my job disappeared for the second time in 12 months in the background screening industry, I was like, I got to take a break. So what can I rest in that I will enjoy? And I've always coached fun and passion. And so I went to a place where I can do fun and passion. I'm lucky enough to be able to state I work for the largest motorsport provider in the United States, and we are growing and we're breaking records. And I'm one of the top performing stores in my district on KPIs, and I have performers within the nation, like we're top performers in the nation. Proud to say that, but that is not something that everybody on LinkedIn would be proud of for themselves. Running a retail store is not necessarily for them. Working with motorcycle enthusiasts, not necessarily for them. Serving food once a month, having a party, not necessarily their thing if they're used to a corporate role or leadership in that at that level. I love the fun and passion. I don't care what I do as long as I can enjoy it. If I'm passionate about protecting the riders, doing the things. And so that's what I would say my suggestion would be, guys, fun and passion. I don't care what it is that it is. Find that non-negotiable, because even if you're happy and making minimum wage, it's not little wage. Not everybody's going to be able to do minimum wage, and I get that, but find your minimum wage, your lowest number, and you set that bar and then move accordingly for yourself, right? Felipe, are you back? Oh, Felipe, where are you, my friend? Maybe you can text me some comments or something. I'm going to check my phone too, because sometimes he checks in, but I'm sad we don't have Felipe. Guys, it's not going to get easier, I don't think, in my personal opinion. If I've been forecasting for a long time, and this is the first time where I am not confidently forecasting. That doesn't mean the world's ending. It means Melissa's not clear. And when I don't have a lot of clarity on what to expect, I'm honest, right? We've seen major manufacturers come out this year, and usually they have an annual report, and they said, we can't either. So I'm not alone in this. I see a lot of people who want to forecast, and I'm proud of their bravery. I'm just not sure. So the best thing I can say is take care of yourself, live in your fun and passion, keep working it, right? Like, you can't give up. Giving up means we stopped, and action is what gets it done. But changing the way you move is important. And Felipe, gosh, I hope you could come back. I wish you could come back. Are you there? I don't understand why he's not there. Maybe you can chat. I don't even think he can hear us. I don't know. Somebody maybe text him and see if he's okay. Question from Sean. Oh. Felipe
Hi,
too. Look, there he is. Oh, I'm so
Sorry.
proud of you. I was like, why is he not on another device yet? I was going to say something, but not
I
without
can
you
see
being
you
able to
all.
defend yourself.
I can see you all. I can't hear you all through my screen for some reason. I took off every Bluetooth device, and there's just no sound, so I couldn't hear you all. So what questions do you have for me while I'm here?
Well, Marcia, do you want to redirect to Felipe? You're welcome to. Maybe not. I can't tell, her screen moved. Okay, so really what we were talking about is just, Marcia is in DC. There's very small amount of open roles currently. Lots of people in need, right? The area there is being highly impacted with furloughs and other things. And it comes down to budgets and whatever, but there is a ripple, and it does make it harder to stay motivated to do it. And so what would you say to those people who are in your area? And how do you keep that forward momentum going in spite of, like, what would you suggest? I shared my cycle gear experience, right? Going into fun and passion and being able to lead the way in a lot of ways within the organization because of that. But what is it that you would suggest?
I mean, so this is what I've been telling people, because the reality is that there's a lot of people that are waiting and hoping for it to get back to being better. And I said, right now, hoping and praying is not going to work. You got to take some action. And when I say take action, it means if, for example, the government furloughs, so they're being threatened that some of them might be terminations, and they won't have jobs at all. Instead of waiting to find out, I think right now it's, let's start figuring out what else could I do if I had to? What are the other options? Using ChatGPT to brainstorm, saying, here are my skills. What other industries use these skills that would help me? And then start looking for jobs and thinking about, okay, that actually is a job I never thought of that I could possibly use my skills in. And just start brainstorming ideas right now, because hoping and praying and waiting, you're going to end up being behind the eight ball. And there's going to be a lot of people behind the eight ball, because what I've learned is, like, for example, with AI, the bigger the company, the more resistant they are to change and adapting to new things like AI sometimes. So you want to be careful about resisting the change that might help you, and allowing yourself to open your mind up. It's scary, I know. It's very scary, but it's also very exciting, especially when you realize there are opportunities out there that would benefit from my skills, opportunities that probably have more job security. It's very comfortable when you're in the same field, same type of work for a long period of time. I was in hospitality for 23 years. I thought I was going to retire from there for 23 years. I was convinced I was going to retire with them. Life changes. So I think that if we prepare for ourselves, it's like the phrase I always tell my kids: hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. What are you doing to prepare for that worst case scenario in case it happens, so you're not caught with, for lack of a better phrase, caught with your pants down? So I don't know if that answered it directly, Houston, but there's my 2 cents for what it's worth.
I love that. Guys, it's stuff we've said before, and it really comes down to, you got to figure out what's okay for you. And it may not be what Felipe said. It may not be what I said. It might be a little bit of both of what we said. It could be something completely separate for you. But I will tell you, there are people who I have coached who blow bubbles for $150 an hour at 2-year-old birthday parties. I know people who made a living out of throwing tea parties for girls for their birthdays, right? There's people who bought a bounce house and loan it out for $250 for 4 hours. You have to get strategic. It may be you work for yourself. It may not be. It may be you do both. There are people out there creating side hustles in their passion, and then one income eclipses another. They move forward. But it can't be the same old anymore. That is something Felipe and I agree on. What used to work doesn't. But I will say this: don't lose the human factor. Don't lose the relationships in person and connection and being genuine, because truth be told, what has always worked in business is doing what you say you will do, handshake and a smile, actual follow-up. And that leads to something. I'm going to jump over Jay's question just to tie into the conversation with Sean real quick. But he says, should we follow up 2 weeks after applying by reaching out to the recruiter on LinkedIn, or is that considered nagging? What about right after we apply? Felipe, do you want to take this? I have a response to this too, but I would love for you to answer first.
Well, sure. So, right after is nagging. Within 2 weeks, absolutely appropriate, 100% appropriate. If anything, what I would recommend is immediately after, message them with a thank you on LinkedIn. Don't ask about the job. Don't just say, thank you for the interview. I left there feeling very interested about the job. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Just like that. That's appropriate. Saying, hey, any updates yet? On the first message, no. But that way, when you send that message afterwards, it shows that you definitely had interest in the job. You liked what they said, so they have a positive feeling. And then if you don't hear anything within that 10 days to 2 week period, after 10 days, I think absolutely, unless they tell you, hey, we'll get back to you by this Friday. They haven't got to you by 4 o'clock on Friday, send them a DM.
Okay, so I like your answer. I do think he said applying, not interviewing, though. So I just want to clarify that. But love that feedback. Okay. The other thing I would say, though, is, guys, I'm going to break HR rules. Cover your ears, HR people. Applying is like dating. And I would recommend you move accordingly. I don't want you banging on my window, tapping the whole time. Hey, can we date? No, that's weird. So don't email me, call me, leave a voicemail, text me, do the, like, how may I help you on the website to say, hey, Bob hasn't called me back. But apply. Send the, hey, how you doing? This is me. Here's my, maybe we can match kind of thing. I don't know. I've never matched. I don't swipe or whatever, but you get it. First step. Next step. Hey, you seem to like my profile. Thanks so much for the ability to apply. Can I ask you a few questions about the role? What is it like to work for the company? Right? Who are you, Felipe? And why should we be talking? Whatever, right? This is the steps. You just start moving forward. Follow the company. Engage on their post. It's kind of like following them on Instagram and liking their status. Think comparably. I know it's silly, but people understand dating. And if you stop making it hard and you just think about rules of engagement to not be creepy in that, you kind of understand the same thing, because the same humans that might go out into the dating pool are the same ones who pull from the applicant pool. They just happen to be a recruiter in their day job. So think about it to not be aggressive. Don't be rude if you don't get the reaction you're hoping for. All of these things apply. And I know we're not supposed to talk about it that way, but that's my 2 cents.
No, from HR, I agree with what you said. So I'm glad you said that, because my answer was after you apply, and that still stands. I still stand by my answer after you apply, but I'm sorry, after the interview. Forgive me. But before the interview, I 100% agree with Melissa. You want to get seen and heard, and you need to make sure that they know. But here's a trick, and it's a trick, and I'll be honest, because I fall for it. Even now, after I say it's a trick, I still fall for it, okay? But it's also a strategy, okay? When you reach out to that person, that recruiter, say you found out who the recruiter is for the job that you applied to, or that maybe you were thinking about applying to, but let's say you already applied to it. Do not tell the recruiter you already applied. Do not. Tell the recruiter, hey, I was thinking about applying for this job you have posted. Can you tell me, ask a question. Can you tell me, is it something, a little bit more about the hours or the culture or whatever it is that you want to ask? Don't ask anything about the money. And this is the reason why. As a recruiter, if I know I have you in my database, I already got you. I'll get back to you when it's good for me. That's what most recruiters are going to think. But the moment you said, I'm thinking about applying, somebody who has experience that's not in my database, I need to get them in my database. I don't care if they're good or not. I need to get them in there first so I can find out more about them. So they want you to apply. They're going to more likely respond to you as a non-applicant than if you were already an applicant, which sounds so wrong. It sounds so wrong on so many levels.
Can we tweak that statement slightly, though? Can you be like, I saw the job ad and I had additional questions? You don't have to say I applied, but you don't say you're thinking, because I feel like there's dishonesty. And for me, if he says thinking and then I see Felipe already applied, I'm like, you're a liar, bro. You just misled me. And then I'm already not.
Okay, so reword it so you're not lying. Yes. So hey, I wanted to ask some questions about this job that caught my interest. And that, so you say it caught your interest, don't say you. The message is, don't tell me you've applied already, because the moment you tell me you've already applied, they're less likely to respond to you. Like and I'll be honest, when I have 100 messages to get back to, I'm going to get back to the ones that haven't applied before I get back to the ones that have already applied, which is wrong, but it's that recruiter mentality that they trained you to do. And so
actually, that's like really good, smart time management. So I'm going to give you credit for that. Not, you address the fires as they come. This person's not anchored in enough. So don't beat yourself up for that. That's strategy.
But when you want that experience for the applicant to be good and positive and responsive, it's a seesaw. Yeah. You can go back and forth.
And you're human, guys. And so nothing's perfect. And so are your recruiters. And you can hate me for saying that out loud. But do you know how many people message them and then thank them and then want to ask them a couple questions about the job description? And so please just know that while we're telling you to do it, there are people who are also doing it, and it bogs the inbox down. My inbox says happy birthday from 5 million people. I have not responded to them yet because honestly, I don't have the bandwidth. But it's not that I don't appreciate it.
It's hard to do the other way. But here, real quick, before we get back to Marcia, I think she came back on stage for a question. I want to share one thing. Something that happened this weekend that was, we talk about skills. You talk about doing something that you find passion in. And a lot of times you don't think about the things that you're good at as something that you can make money. I've talked about my book, Miranda and Max, And you all have heard me talk about the video I created. Yes, I'm going to share the QR code again, just for while I'm saying this. But I've had 5 people say to me, "Hey, the video you created where you animated it with AI, if I wrote a children's book, could you do that for me?" And as I thought about it, I'm like, you know what? If I ever start doing this, I am going to charge what I'm worth. I'm going to charge appropriately for the work that it takes me to go into it. And I actually could make money off of this for people that want me to do this for them. But I never would have thought that unless people came to me and said, hey, so that, yes, that is a good reason to do it. But revisit your skills, revisit what you've done that people have said, hey, I like this, you did a great job, can you do it for me? And if people ask you to do that, that might be a skill where you can actually make some money. And you wouldn't have thought about it before, but right now, having multiple skills is the way the future will work.
Oh my gosh, Felipe. I want to squeeze your face and just go, oh, you're so cute. What you just said.
I'm not a toddler or a 5-month-old
Yes,
baby.
He's my little baby brother. Okay, no, listen. What you said was your fun and passion.
You said I was younger.
I'm lying to him. It's fine. But here comes some truth. His fun and passion. He had fun about something he was passionate about, which was telling his daughter's story, telling the puppy's story. He poured himself into the passion of AI. And I got to tell you guys, I have browbeat this guy about AI a lot because I'm like, stop talking about AI every time we get on live. Stop saying the same things. But truthfully, he's passionate about it. And it's not the same things, but he's so passionate. It is part of his life, right? And then he just played in it, paid to play in it, right? He invested in his passion. And now it's producing not just results that he can hold that I'm holding. I have his book in my home. I've read it out loud to my client, actually, as an example of something they could do with fun and passion. So, or like, my friend Felipe just did this. Did you even know he did it? And I read the book to a grown-up, Felipe. That's the first person I read it to. It was your fun and passion that had a ripple even in a coaching session you had no idea about. Because truthfully, it doesn't take a lot to get it done. But you proved that extra little effort on your own time for your own fun, your own passion, your own family can make a ripple way beyond and then overlap into your professional life. And you live it. And so I appreciate you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate everything you said. And I do want to remind people that it is something that, when you find that passion and enjoy it, who cares if it's something that's different than what people think you are? I'm an HR executive. What am I doing writing children's books? You know what? I'm passionate about my child. I'm passionate about the story, and AI helped me do it. Now, here's the thing about AI also, besides being a passion of mine, one of the driving forces is that I keep on thinking about the future of work and what it's going to be like for my staff and for my kids. And AI is part of that future. We can't ignore that. So it drives me to learn it more so that I can help teach them. And through that process, I'm like, well, let me try something with the images. Let me see if it'll help me with my book. Oh, wait, this could actually help bring my sketches and the photographs together. And so, yeah. All right, Marcia, you've been patient as a saint. God bless you for that. Please, you came back on stage. Did you have a comment or a question?
Yes, I did have a comment. So thank you all. Thank you both. Felipe, about AI, since like I said, I've been your fan for a minute. And I actually show my leadership how she could use AI to make the annual report more, more clean and relevant when you're trying to raise funding. Because I'm like, this is trash. I didn't say those exact words, but I was dignified. And I showed her, I said, this is what you do. Take your text, incorporate it. And I said, doesn't that sound better than what this is when you're trying to get money? But so much for her. But to your point, I want to talk about passion. Because you are 1,000% right. I'm about health and well-being 100%. So I'm on different committees in the city where I'm aligning what my passion is to make money and to network and to transition into a new career. I met one of my millennial children last month at the farmers market. He said, Auntie, go ahead and do this thing. So more to come on that. And I'm like, I never even thought of it. He said, you health and well-being. That's the way to make money. He said, I'll even help you sell it because you have something. So I told my mom about it. She said, yeah, Herbert makes I can sell to my neighbors. So more to come on that, but you are 100% right because I've always had multiple revenue streams since I was 15 years old. All like my whole entire life, working life, I've always had multiple revenue streams, and I haven't lost sight of that. But until now, Felipe, they just and Melissa, they just been like jobs. They haven't been passion. Only until I started my podcast and my audios and being about health and well-being, and I'm like, this is my calling. So I'm working on that. So thank you both for your great advice.
Well, thank you for being a great example of people that just take ideas and put them into action. You figured out what worked for you and made it work. I mean, and Marcia, if I talked to your 25-year-old self and said, "Hey, you can be a podcaster when you're this age," would you have believed it?
Baby, I'm not gonna use bad language. No, but you know what? Another thing, you know what? And you know what? When I cut my hair, somebody said if you wasn't transition, would you have cut your hair totally off? I'm like, no. But everything, my mother said I'm a late bloomer because you know I am a baby boomer. So I'm a late bloomer. Maybe that'd be the title of my book. More to come on that, because baby, since I'm
Oh, I
home,
like that.
baby, let
I
me tell
like
you
that.
something. Baby, since I'm home. I'm like, let me go ahead and start handling my business because I don't even have time for this nonsense. These people pulling, and I'm in a really good space about the whole furlough thing because there's nothing I could do about it. Like, what can I do? Because I don't have time to exert my energy on what I can't control. Period. And this is
There,
a
that
new
was right there.
philosophy.
Mic drop on that one. That was you can't, and you're using your mental and it saves your mental health. We do have some questions in the chat that we are going to get to, but Houston, you wanted to make a comment, but before you make a comment, the one thing I want to say also is, don't forget, people like the future of work. People are going to be working longer because they want to and they have passion and they can. I gotta say, I've not been shy about saying I'm in my 50s. I've gotten more accomplished in my 50s than I ever thought I would, and more than I did in my 40s. And so for me, it's don't, whether you're a late bloomer or you doubted yourself, look, we got a lot of resources. Give yourself more credit than you are giving yourself because you can do a lot more than you think probably. But Houston, back to you.
I was just thinking about how Marcia Lee would be the scariest and most effective personal trainer in my life. If you came over and said, ma'am, get up, let's go. You said you wanted to work out. Health and wellness has started I would move.
Oh,
I
you
would
know what?
run. And I have
I second
arthritis
that.
in my
I
hip.
second that.
Oh,
But
you know what, y'all? Let me
Marcia,
stop.
have you
Fun
considered,
fact: I used to actually be a fitness instructor. Yes,
Oh, I
ma'am,
could totally see
hello?
that.
I was. And you know what? And they used to love my classes. But go ahead, Melissa.
Do it. I feel that is where I would put you right now. If and I love to just kind of like pick a profession based on what I know of people, and you would be amazing. I know there's this TikTok or Facebook person. I don't know. It's one of those reels guys that I see, and he's just like in your face talking about, oh, if you worried about your diet, like you worry about your man's phone. And I was like, whoa, whoa. But honestly, maybe a little bit softer than that. But there was so much bluntness in it when you just hold the truth up. Like we do focus on other people's actions more than our own. We focus on how people move around us more than ourselves. And when you have somebody who's able to hold a mirror up and be passionate about your health more than you, and I know you are, you want everybody healthy, and you are not messing around when you talk about health, and you mean it, and there is no excuses because you're either doing it or you're not.
Um,
I
Thank you so much. I'm
value
gonna get
that.
off, but thank you so much. You are 1,000% right on that because I don't have time in my life, and wait till my TED Talk actually drops and I can share it because I'm doing a
I
stream
can't
I
wait for
love
that.
it.
like
I'm
that part,
excited.
and more to come on that. So thank you both for all your support, and y'all have a fabulous week.
You too, Marcia. So,
I love
real
it.
quick, I want to share some questions we have here in the chat. So, question from Jay: if a company's set and businesses are always about equal opportunity, inclusiveness, then why don't they keep their word? Although I'm handicapped, I enjoy learning about something in the company that I'm applying for. So, my answer is probably going to be very short. It's if a company is not keeping the word with that, it's not the right company to be applying at. I mean, to me, it's that simple. If you see comments or you hear about people not being treated well, that those are red flags. And the reality is that for every great employer, there's definitely a bad one out there. So I wish there was a better answer. But before we go to the next question, did you want to share your thoughts on this one, Houston?
I struggle with this a little bit because as somebody who is technically handicapped, it's in my medical records. I could get the placard and use it daily. Um, just because I am more able-bodied than others doesn't mean that I am not also part of that inclusivity, right? And so I don't know, it's really hard because I think sometimes if we're not hired, we could think that we're just being excluded, but there are how many applicants in DC right now being excluded for that one job every time. And so I don't know if it's in practice or just the fact that you haven't landed the job yet. I wish I had more context on that, but I would say if you have proof they're not inclusive, there's steps you can take for that. At least even communicating your feelings to the leadership and saying, I wish you guys were more focused on helping people like me be part of your company and your movement. That could really have a ripple. But I don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And sometimes there's not enough jobs for everybody is sometimes why. I'm not saying that's always the reason, but I wish I had more
But
context.
another strategy also is stop applying. If you have a unique need or accommodation or request or schedule, whatever it is, instead of looking for ones that offer that in the job description, look for the companies out there that are known for it. Research the ones that may have gotten awards, that have gotten recognition for being inclusive, for having, hiring people with disabilities, for being known for their flexibility. Research, ChatGPT it. What are the top 5 companies that are known for hiring people with this? And see what's out there. And then go out from there. Okay, what companies are associated with these big, huge companies that maybe I can't get into the Amazons of these companies, but what companies do they do business with? Because likely they probably do business with similar companies. And just start going out that way. So find out where to fish. Don't just guess where to fish is my message. All right, the next question real quick here comes from Sean. And it says, should we follow up 2 weeks after applying by reaching out? Oh, we already answered this one, didn't we? Yeah,
we did. Yep.
Okay, sorry. And
no, it's good.
Maria, is that a question? No, hold on. I'm trying to find the questions here. All right, so here's one from Maria. I notice a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn don't always respond, but that could be a thing in Netherlands. I'm not sure. No, that's a really important point you bring up, Maria, because here's the thing. And I'm glad you brought this up because we did not mention this. One of the first things you want to do before you message somebody on LinkedIn is find out if they're even active. And what I mean is, or do they have a profile that looks complete? Have they commented, liked, posted any activity at all? If there's no activity, they don't have a complete profile, I would venture to say the chance of them responding to you are even less than anybody else because they might not be using LinkedIn. Again, a smart recruiter would, but again, if you're in construction, you're probably not going to find a lot of candidates on LinkedIn that are looking for construction work. Realistically, you might find some, but not a lot. So it depends on the industry. So it's important to find out if they're there because that will let you know if they're likely to respond. The other thing is that they are probably getting bombarded, like Melissa said, thousands of people. So make sure your message is short and sweet and it stands out with something like just don't say, hey, I applied. If you start your sentence with that, hey, I applied, they get thousands that say that. So stand out with something unique. And if you want to be funny, try to be funny if funny's worked for you. If it has not worked for you, do not do it. As my wife says, I don't think that was funny. If I keep on telling that joke, it's not gonna get funnier. So yeah. So I hope.
I love that she has the same opinion on your jokes as I do.
Shut up.
I'm just kidding. Also, I have something to add to this real quick. Little bit tricky, but let's say you go to a recruiter's, message box and say, I want to talk to you. However you do that. Before you do that, before you ever even think about starting to type, can you please go view their profile? Because I know many recruiters, and some of my favorite recruiters say right in their about section, if you're going to message me, please start with this word, like Felipe will tell you if you need something specific to open with that line. So, it's there. Some will say, please don't message me on LinkedIn. this is not where I live. If you're interested in a job, this is the email. If you fail to read that and the job asks for attention to detail, they've already eliminated you. Congratulations, that was your application. And so you have to take the time. You have to learn who you're dealing with. Figure out if you could say, hey, I noticed you're in the same leadership group as I am. Hey, I noticed you're connected to the same HR guy. Have you ever seen one of the Careers, Chaos, and Coaching shows? Hey, I know Melissa Houston. Have you ever been to a coffee chat? It's very easy. Or how did you meet her? I met her in a coffee chat when she was talking about leadership. Give them something. That's meat on the bone for me to go, oh, wow, they do development on the weekends in their personal time. That's the first thing I'm thinking about you if you're putting meat on the bone like that. So think about that strategy. Take the time to look at what you're looking at. It might be a word they use often in their post. They may have used a term you don't use often and you just swap the term out. So you're matching kind of their energy. People respond to that. It's a sales technique. If you're sitting in a meeting and people are sitting very strict and upright, you want to match that energy to show professionalism. If they're more laid back and you're strict and upright, it's not going to be a good fit for them. And so I would say the same thing with your approach on LinkedIn. Figure out how they approach it and then match that energy.
And here's the thing, one of the best things you can do is read their about section. If they're going to share anything personal about themselves, chances are it's going to be in their about section. And if you find out something that resonates with you, like say they were, they skateboarded for 20 years and were like an amateur skateboarder, and you love skateboarding. So, hey, I noticed you love skateboarding. That's really cool. I grew up doing the same thing. And, when I was reading your profile, I noticed you were posted a job. Boom, 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 boom. But capture their attention with one of their interests or something, an article about them or the company that stood out. That profile, that LinkedIn profile can tell you a lot. There's a very famous LinkedIn person. I'm not going to tell you their name because I don't want you to get the trick. I want you to earn it. He will only connect with people that put a certain emoji in the connection request because he says in his about section, I'm open to connecting with anybody, but I want people to take time to get to know me. So if you get to know me, you must do this in your message when you send a connection request. And that's how you connect with him. But it's because people took the time to get to know them. So research, get to know people, learn about them. At the end of the day, it's about building relationships, because if you're looking for the shortcut, that's not sustainable. All right.
That is fantastic, Felipe. Do you have any other questions? Because I have one for you we can wrap with if
I'm
you're
ready.
ready.
Go, shoot.
What was the worst mistake you've ever made on your own resume or application?
Oh, that's a good question.
Thank you.
Well, I got to think about this one because I know there was something I did. I'm trying to remember what it was that I was like, oh, crap. And I had that go out to a bunch of people. Well, I can think of a stupid one. I had the wrong year on my dates. Like I was thinking of like 24 and it should have been 25, for example. And that again just talks to attention to detail and having someone else proofread your resume. But there was a big one that I made. I'm trying to remember what it was. I can't think of it right now, but it was.
Can you remember one you've seen too? Because I have two, and I'll let you think about one you've seen.
Right.
Just the worst.
Okay, well, I mean, this was worse because it was a senior vice president applying for the job, and it was just the first line said, "I'm so excited about joining the Houston Corporation. I've read and researched about your company, and I think my skills can add so much value to your organization." Unfortunately, it was the Cofiño organization that they were applying at. So to your point about customizing your resume, make sure that you are, it's like keeping a spreadsheet of them. Don't over customize them too much because then you have too many and you won't remember which one you sent to who. You want to make sure that you customize them and you remember who got which one. And if you put I almost don't recommend mentioning the name so you don't have that mistake, because to me, it just like, you didn't pay attention to detail. It's almost like just, it's just you start off with a negative mark. The other things that are, I think, also too long. I'm not going to read a 15-page resume. I have someone whose mother is putting out 15-page resumes, and she's wondering why she's not hearing back. I'm like, I'm happy to help. She's like, she's not ready for feedback yet. She thinks she's doing it right. I'm like, all right. But the last thing I'll say is this: is that one of the things I always see, and it's very frustrating because, again, it's attention to detail. But when, well, actually, before I say this, I echo what you said about the address. Keep your address, personal identifiable information off of there. People say that you need a picture. You don't need a picture. You got LinkedIn for that. But the last one I'll say is this: is that having if you were leading a group, having the words that, like, oh, I worked on this project, I managed this team. Okay, that's great. I'm glad that you worked. But what did you accomplish? And I think that's the biggest miss that people have, that as a recruiter, that to me just jumps out is, oh, damn, you actually completed the project 2 months early. That says that you're able to get things done quickly and done well. Or, hey, you saved the money this much dollars, or you made the company this much dollars. Those measurable accomplishments add value. That you completed the task and you got recognized for it, or you with a team of people that you had half of them get that left and turned over, you still completed the project on time. Any kind of measurements that show that you have skills, that's going to add value versus you just saying you have it. But what examples did you have?
Okay, so my personal failure, there were two that really stuck out to me, but one was early in my career when I was actually doing like my welfare to work transition program. I was a young mom and they were teaching me how to build a resume. And I got the really pretty final thing done, but when we printed it, we hadn't noticed that there were two font sizes. And so halfway through I started screaming in comparison, and we didn't notice that it was done until I had already turned them in all over town, because the professional helped me. And so I just didn't look. So that's the one that I did. Personally, I will take responsibility for it because it was printed and I didn't even glance at it. One that I see all the time, though, and it's driving me crazy because I don't know if they're doing it intentionally, if like they're just letting ChatGPT do it and they don't gap fill, but it will say experience. And then in parentheses next to it, it'll say, fill in your experience here. And they're leaving that. And
That's
sometimes they don't
annoying.
even do what
That's
it says.
annoying.
So I'm like, if there's an experience section, there's a prompt to do the job and you didn't do it, I'm already not interested in hiring you. It's right in front of you and you didn't even remove it or like sweep it under the rug kind of thing. It's still just not completed. No action taken. And it's just that attention to detail matters to me. It's small, but in a retail environment, attention to detail is everything on the sales floor because the prices have to be right. The sizing, the details, and like what I sell, all of it matters. And it's so small, but the big things add up. And that's just retail, guys. If I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, these happen. And then we're also talking about a 15-page resume. We have gap filled. That is everything in between. Because those high-level CFO, CEO roles, they do have multi-page documents. They don't need 15. Articulate people can definitely be more concise about it, but that's the full spectrum. You gotta look at what you're producing. You gotta make sure it matches what they're asking for. If the company's motto is to save trees and you come with 15 pages of resume, they're not gonna hire you. How many trees did it take to get you a job?
Well, not that. I could have reviewed 15 applicants with your 15 pages, so you're not a good time saver either.
So just think through it. But if you're somebody, if they don't care, if they're like the wood chipping or they produce trees and they saw them out and they create the paper, they probably love when you use a really heavyweight paper and they're going to be so impressed by that 1-page heavyweight paper. So just get strategic, do your research, ask for help when you need it. We didn't learn all of these tips by ourselves. I can promise you we had training through the years and we learned the hard way by reading a lot of resumes and producing a few of our own. Felipe, I'm so grateful for the show.
And I'm grateful that you're a grandma. And I love that you still use paper resumes. That's really cute.
Hey, you know what? Your face, number one, and number two, I don't. Truth be told, guys, if I gotta be honest, 2 out of the last 3 jobs I had, I made a phone call to get.
No.
And I know that sounds so big-headed, but the last one I did use a resume, and it was a virtual one. It wasn't paper. So I don't really do paper resumes, but I do have it ready. If they want to print it, they can. It's
have your resume available, have a copy on you. But the reality is, like, I would get paper resumes mailed to me all the time. I got an envelope in the mail the other day. I'm like, oh my God, I got a resume. Oh, no, it's not a resume. And I thought about it. I'm like, I haven't gotten a resume mailed to me in at least 3 years, if not more. So it is something that, when we say paper, we obviously we mean digital too, but it is something that I just realized that this past couple of weeks that I haven't gotten a paper resume in over 3 years. So
I get them a lot. I'm actually really impressed because I have to redirect a lot of my applicants to the website so I can start their digital footprint in the onboarding process.
That makes sense with your industry. That makes a lot more because they're not office people. They're bikers. They're outside.
But guys, you know what? I got to tell you, it always worked for me this way. If you take the time to stop in with your paper resume, if nothing else, my grandma used to tell me all the time, even when it was just paper applications, stop in often so they have to pull your application out and put you back on the top. You're going to make the first impression first.
And they have a face with a name.
And that goes a long way too. Yep.
But the reality is that how many of your customers are on LinkedIn right now? Realistically, a percentage.
It depends on which customers, because I'm still coaching
the customers
and
in the store,
professionals, right?
Would you say it's a high percentage or low percentage? Like if I take Amazon,
I would say high, actually.
Really?
And this is why. Number one, a lot of my older customers are professionals. Okay. And so they, by default, they have the money to spend $2,000 on an outfit. But then the younger generation are required to create a LinkedIn in a lot of their classes.
True. Good point.
So they also have them. And so there's not a lot of people I know that don't, because I also tell them, why aren't you on LinkedIn being my friend?
Yeah.
And so I'm there's a little bit of muddy water in my pool, right? But truth be told, guys, connection, community, showing up, doing it a little bit differently than the other people helps. Whether that's that additional layer of following them on LinkedIn and making sure that you're commenting on their post on the community page. A lot of these company pages get maybe 5-10 comments unless they're huge global platforms. So you coming to comment on Cofiño Consulting when he's hiring, it's going to be a big ripple in his pond compared to Microsoft or Google's page, right? But get strategic. What if they're doing the same thing over at company B that Google's doing? It's just a smaller startup. Same kind of fun, same kind of passion. You go engage on those pages, you're going to have much better results than if you're trying to get in with Microsoft.
And here's the thing, Melissa and I have said, we're giving you options of different routes to take in different ways, but figure out what works for you. If you start doing something and you're getting responses, rinse and repeat, keep on trying it and figure out what's working, because the industry that you're applying for, you might only need certain aspects of what we talked about today. In other industries, you might use everything that we talked about today. So it is something that it's okay to have a trial and fail process. You learn from the failures. Oh, crap, I didn't get the job. I didn't do this, though. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Next time, do it and learn from it. It's okay. That's how Melissa and I have learned. We learned by making a lot of mistakes and not repeating them. That's the key. It's okay to make the mistake, just don't repeat it and learn from it. All right, so with that being said, I don't see any other questions. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Maria, thank you, and Adrian, and Leslie, and Mike. Oh, Mike mentioned this one thing real quick. I just want to address this. He mentioned that he got riffed and locked out of all their systems the same day, and he was in the office. I will say, depending on the company and the type of work you do, if there's anything like if it's banking or one of the places I was at had security clearances as an HR person, as soon as I gave you the termination papers or as soon as I gave you your exit paperwork, I had to email security, IT, everyone Please remove this following person from all systems immediately as of this date, and boom, boom, boom. Sometimes the person might still be in the building if they're saying goodbye to people and they were leaving on good terms and stuff like that. So it is a normal practice, but there is some tact that people can have of waiting until the person leaves and not doing it while they're in the office. So I just wanted to address that real quick. But with that being said, Houston, thank you for another wonderful afternoon, and thank you for being patient as I transferred from automotive live to in-house live. And I'm looking forward to our next show in 2 weeks, and I hope that you all come back. And Jay, thank you for your great questions. Aaron, thank you for wonderful support as always. And Meryl, your support is valued so much. Sean, thank you for coming and asking questions. And then Jackie and Leanna and everyone else, we really appreciate you. And we hope you come back in 2 weeks. If you have a comment you want to share, let us know. If you have a topic you want us to cover, let us know, and we'd love to cover it. But Houston, what do you have? Anything else you have coming up, or any last words before we wrap up?
I think our next topic should be the holidays. They're coming. So how are we going to prepare? We got a few things we can do to do that.
I'm preparing for Halloween. But I think, if you want to talk about Halloween, I'm all in on that one.
I mean, I just say the holidays in general, because yes, we can talk about the fun of Halloween, but I think this season, talking about the job search and the economy and some of the things that are question marks out there right now, the holidays coming, there's the blues that come with winter, right? Especially in the Pacific Northwest, a lot of people get the seasonal depression things going on. And so maybe we can just get ahead of it a little bit. How are we going to plan to head into the holidays? How are we doing it over the Thanksgiving dinner table with, the news maybe playing in the background? How are we going into this season financially? How are we going in mentally? How are we going in together, right? As a community, what are the plans for the last quarter of the year? Maybe we could just do that kind of thing. If you guys are down for that idea, please let us know in the comments. If you have a better one, if you have a different one, if you have something you're like, but please do this one first, let us know, because we can get past Halloween. We could do a different topic, but I think it would be one I would love to cover.
I love that. Well, where can people find you, Houston?
In the Pacific Northwest, like I said. But you can also check me out at documentthenAct.com. You can check me out on YouTube. Go to Document Then Act on YouTube. You can see former shows. I do have a careers, chaos, and coaching list. I try to keep up with Felipe all the time over there. And then the coffee chats, please go follow, subscribe, go check out the opening song. It's one of my favorite ways to start the day. It gets me going. But if you need help, please just get on the website, sign up. You can message me on LinkedIn. Just know I'm not actively doing anything for a little bit more time. I don't know if it's going to be a week, maybe 2. I'm just taking a break. I am here for this show. I told Felipe I don't want to stop the show, but I will see you guys soon. And if you need me, just message, and I will definitely make space as soon as I can.
Well, I'm so
Felipe,
glad that
what about you? What are you up to?
This week, I think I'm going to slow down. So I just finished giving Nick, my publisher, the Spanish version of Miranda and Max. And so that is coming. Oh, I lost the QR code for it. Oh, there it is. And so the Spanish version of Miranda Max is coming out, which is something that my family in Spain really wanted. Some of them bought it in English, and we really would like it in Spanish. And I had them actually proofread it for me after we translated it, and it was fun. My little niece that was 5 years old when I took Miranda over there, when Miranda was 5 years old, is now all grown up. It's like, oh, I'll proofread it for you. I do copy editing all the time. I'm like, you're a copy editor? It's like, damn. It's like, you're all grown up. But so I'm excited about that. And also just for the people in the community here that speak Spanish, we have a big community of Hispanics in this DC area. And anyone that wants to teach their kids another language, I think it's a great way to do it and a fun way to do it. So that is coming up. Obviously, Cofiño Consulting, I mentioned earlier, if you want to need services, I'm always working on that. And of course, we're on my YouTube page. But this week is pretty quiet. Otherwise, I'm just going to be focusing on work at PRB and some stuff here around the house. And then next Monday, a week from Monday, I do have the next episode of the Workplace Wellness Hour with Simona Jetty and Ashley Llewellyn. That you can see episodes of that on my YouTube channel as well. But other than that, it's Social Saturday Chat at 12 noon every Saturday, which you can always join us there because that is a great place to network We talk about networking, you all. It's a great place to do it. So check it out if you want to network and meet some fascinating people. So that is it for me. Thank you again for being an amazing co-host, and just help me through when I'm having challenging times, especially with technology. And thank you to Aaron Gibson, who did Melissa's intro for her Saturday show and also did the intro for this show, because he did a phenomenal job. If you didn't see it in the beginning, we'll play it now at the end. But he really is talented. That's another person there that is passionate about what he does. And he is somebody that if you need someone for your company to create something that is dynamic and captures what you want to message, he does a great job with that. He really does. The visuals, the music, everything.
Felipe, did you happen to catch his show on Friday night? Did you see the ending by chance?
The outro gave a little shout out.
Guys, did you catch Aaron's show? I know we have a little bit of lag on LinkedIn, so they'll tell us probably after we're gone. But guys, if you didn't see it, go check out Aaron Gibson, Soul Man Live.
He has a new outro where he gives a lot of shout outs. It's really cool.
A beautiful exit. And so I just appreciate the support. I got to say, it's been a fun journey on this platform. We get to play with our friends. We get to do it our way. We try to help others as we go.
We learn new skills, too, that we get to try and do.
Yeah. And I don't know you, right? Like I didn't know you except here. And I do know you, but I didn't meet Felipe before LinkedIn. I didn't work with him prior to being in these audio events. I didn't know half of you guys, right? It's really neat. I also have to say I'm really excited about the community that's here on the ground. And guys, I want to encourage you to make sure you're anchoring in your community too. I don't think we all focus on that enough. I know a lot of us love to live in front of the computer. And I know for a long time when I was working at home, I didn't worry about outside community because I had such a great online community. But there is something valuable about that, just like that resume being on paper, hand delivered. Show up, shake each other's hands, give each other hugs, go out and make new friends and drag them to LinkedIn with you, right? Like go have coffee in person, be like, why aren't you on LinkedIn? Let's build you one. We're right here. Let's just do it real quick and encourage them to join you, because I do think it's going to get harder to be happy as the rainy seasons, the cold, the whatever. But if you can meet for hot cocoa, hot convo, hot topics, I think it's going to be helpful. So I'm just excited for that for us this winter. We're really going to get into it.
And I look forward to our next topic in 2 weeks. And Adrian, thank you. I'll give Copper a hug for you. And thank you everyone for joining us. It's been a great session. Feel free to ask questions if you want us to tackle a similar topic or the winter blues or continue this topic. Just let us know. Send us a DM. We'd love to hear from you. So with that being said, I'm going to say happy Sunday to everyone. If you're a football fan, go whatever team you're supporting. I'm rooting for the Commanders. May they win today at 425. And I hope that everyone has a safe rest of their week, and take one thing from today and just take some action in your job search, y'all. Just one thing that you learned today. Try it, and it's just one step closer to finding that next job that you deserve. All right, Houston, with that, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you all soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
In the morning light, I'm chasing dreams, navigating through the office streams. Deadlines looming, emails piling high, wondering if I'm reaching for the sky or just passing by. The world outside, it's a swirling storm, chaos in the streets, a daily norm. But inside my mind, I'm seeking peace, a way to balance, a moment to seize. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. up on meetings, voices in my head, strategies and plans, where do they lead instead? I take a breath, step back to see the bigger picture, what's meant to be. Coaching sessions, a guiding light, helping me focus, setting things right. With every word, a new perspective gained. In the game of life, it's not about the pain. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge, we'll learn to say, we've got the strength, we've got the grace to face the world and find our place. In the quiet moments, I find my voice. In the chaos, I make my choice to lead with kindness, to act with care, to be the change, to show I'm aware. Careers, chaos, and coaching too. Finding the path, what else can we do? Observing closely, learning as we go. Making decisions, let our wisdom show. Through the storms and the calm, we'll find our way. With every challenge,